Quick, Thomas, there's not much time. You've got to get me to the main station so I can start the new review. Doctor, you're not making any sense. Review for what? The brand new review for TrainzXtreme's and Edward Branchline's Productions' new channel, Edward's Marklin Who Branchline. Ooh, a new review? I'll be in that. Quick, we must get to the station.
Hey everyone, TrainzXtreme here. Now, let's go into this first section, overall impressions of King of the Railway, the latest Thomas & Friends special. I must say, I was, for the first time in quite a few years, happy when I finished watching the DVD. Now, maybe that's because of the new writing, well, certainly because of the new writing, but I think it was a combination of factors. And unlike when I finished watching all of the specials after, probably even Hero of the Rails, even though I watched it again and I don't mind that one. But I think that it definitely had a different vibe to it than the other specials that we've seen of the CGI era, and it certainly had some kind of positive ending to it. And so rather than me sitting there going, oh my goodness, there were so many wasted opportunities, oh my goodness, those characters are so bad, oh my goodness, that just made no sense at all, you actually end and you go, I'm keen to see what they're going to do with these new characters, and I'm happy with the resolution of the story. Now, I mean, that's not to say there weren't a couple of little things that I thought could have been executed a little bit better in the movie, but I think that it's definitely so much better than the previous specials, and I'm sorry, Sharon Miller, but I don't know what you're smoking, but I'm so glad that Andrew Brenner's not doing it. So, I think overall, it's definitely worth seeing, and even for those people who go, oh, I don't like CGI, I don't like the new movies, no, I think it's important to see this because I think it's unlike Blue Mountain Mystery, which still had that really stupid scene at the end, I think that it's really got that kind of feel of being something fresh, and the kind of like a transition between old CGI and new CGI. And judging by the way Series 17 is going, this is going to be really interesting into the future.
Hi guys, I'm Edward's Branchline Productions speaking on behalf of Edward's Marklin Who Branchline channel. Now, I will be saying what I think or my overall impressions of the movie King of the Railway, which we saw recently. So, what are my overall impressions? Well, my overall impressions were the storyline was amazing, very nice representation of Ulfstead Castle. They're better than any other Sharon Miller specials. It's not as good as Thomas and the Magic Railroad, but it does feature, like, it has no learning edges like Calling All Engines. It doesn't go into too much sing-song like The Great Discovery. The ending was fantastic. And the new characters, Connor, Caitlin, Steven, and Millie, are not just going to be a one-time character and never seen again. However, they will be having their own storylines in season 17 of Thomas and Friends. So overall impressions are, this movie is going great so far.
Ooh, favourite moments. One of them would definitely have to be the Henry's Coal resolution. That was really satisfying, and I felt like it was a massive punch in the face to the writers who were doing the old episodes from the series before, and I'm glad that they fixed that up, because that was really nice. I think most of the animation would have to be my favourite moment, I have to say. I think that I liked what Nitrogen did, but I think that Ark's taken that one step further, and it's got a little bit more depth to it, and I think they've gone, this is CGI, we can do whatever we want with the cameras, so let's just go crazy. And that's what they've done. Rather than having, being limited by what would real-world cameras would be able to do, they can give us all these really cool shots, such as, trains going over the cameras and all kinds of strange angles looking at them, looking through characters, looking from behind characters, looking at the coupling characters, all that kind of thing. And I think that those are something that make the new CGI by Ark really, really special, and I think that it just gives it that extra dimension because you don't have that realisticness of the models, but you've got those really cool camera angles that make it really interesting to watch. So that would be part of, I think, my favourite moment of the film.
My favorite moment will have to be Thomas being a hero and rescuing Steven from that mine shaft. And the fact that Jack comes back. and the animation. I mean, the animation on my rating gets a 5 out of... It gets a 6.5 out of 10. It's not good. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but then again, it's not really all that great. It's like mediocre style. I mean, it ripped off season 13 through 15. But, yeah, after seeing Thomas rescuing Stephen and the Earl of Sodor was really happy that his prized possession was saved, and back to Ulfstead Castle.
I was thinking of taking up mining.
Basically, that's my favorite part. My favorite scene is Thomas and Percy going down the hill with a bunch of trucks. Now, I find that funny, but then a little bit of suspense. Because, like, the beginning scene where Thomas, James, and Percy were pulling that long freight train together, and the trucks wobbling back and forth, it was really interesting. And right when Stephen got to an old mine shaft, when Skarloey from Blue Mountain Quarry sent him to find a different job there, under Ulfstead Castle. When Stephen heard those trucks, he bashed his way through, losing his fun. Apart from that, it sounds like a really interesting part.
I quite like the new characters in this special. I felt like Rocket, or Stephen, was the only one who was fully developed. I think that I felt from just watching the special that Connor and Caitlin and Millie were kind of extra characters just created for merchandising. But I have to say, when I watch episodes of those characters in them, I do actually like them as characters. So I think that maybe they introduced too many characters in the special, and they should have spread that out a little bit so we could have developed more. But I definitely like Stephen. I think he's a really interesting character. I think it's nice to see some historical references. I really liked Connor and Caitlin's design. It's strange, it's fresh, but I think it's cool. The same as I think the Vickerstown Bridge idea is really cool. And I also think Millie's good. I think having another narrow gauge engine who doesn't work in the Skarloey Railway is something that I applaud, because it just adds some variety to the railway. And the Earl was amazing. He was actually really well done. He was stupid and crazy without being annoying, and I think that's a trick that some characters can't get right, such as Bash, Dash, and Ferdinand. But there was enough of him there, like he was well-intentioned enough, and he was clever enough, so that you didn't mind that he was a bit of a weirdo, because he was doing the right thing. So I actually think the characters in the special get a big tick from me.
Well, the inclusion of another narrow gauge engine exclusively for Ulfstead Castle was a big improvement. This character I'm talking about is Millie. Here's a picture. And the new streamlined engines, Connor and Caitlin. The designs are really interesting because they resemble an American locomotive. I think it's the Dreyfus Hudson. If you don't know what that is, look it up on Google Images. And here's a picture of Connor and Caitlin comparing themselves to a Dreyfus Hudson locomotive from the New York Central Railway. None of you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, it's like Hank from season 12. Here's another picture. And now Stephen. I was very excited to see the very first steam engine in the world appear in this movie. His restoration was very nice. He had a lot of history on his past and on the railway's past back in Manchester and Liverpool. He just looked spot on when I saw him.
Things that could have been better. Well, I felt like the whole getting lost thing was a little bit too much The Great Discovery. I thought that for the whole movie to be leading up to the point where he gets lost felt a little bit, like, stale. I don't know. I thought that, like, there could have been a better driver to the plot rather than just, you know, oh, who is Stephen? Stephen going around looking for his jobs. I think I would have preferred something like, you know, they can't get the parts for Stephen, or, you know, the castle's on the mine and that's unstable, and so an engine has to go in and put new supports in, and then it collapses. I felt like it was a little bit too much the Great Discovery, a little bit too much crossover, you know, new engine comes, gets lost, whatever, and also a little bit Messiah's rescue as well. So I thought the central plot element was probably a little bit weak, but I think there was enough different moments in the film to make it feel like a whole. I don't know, it's a bit hard. I didn't feel like King of the Railway was an hour special. I felt like it was lots of short episodes that had all been stitched together on the DVD, which is fine. But I think that when you've got an hour, you can really play with having a big extended plot line. And I think that next time they should, you know, pull it out so we have a little bit more of a sense of this is an hour, we're going to use this hour, kind of like they did in Thomas and the Magic Railroad. It was always building up to this finale. Whereas I think that King of the Railway and some of the previous specials also feel like they're just not really going anywhere until the last 20 minutes, and then we realise that there's actually something happening here. But apart from that, that was my biggest problem with the film. The rest of it was pretty alright, apart from those couple of little niggles, but you can read about those other places because I don't really think they're very important.
Anyway, like Great Discovery, like the bashing through the wall at the mine shaft was cliche off of Great Discovery. The one thing that bugged me a little bit, I mean, I like Millie's whistle, but come on, it's reminiscent to Lady from Thomas and the Magic Railroad. I'm not sure if we're gonna set audio to that. But apart from that and the fact that Gordon and Spencer keep racing every single time, that's all that could have been better for me. I mean, the movie wasn't terrible. I loved it. It's just that I wish they could have stayed away from older Sharon Miller specials.
Oh, now this is the hard part, rating it against other specials. Well, it's definitely better than all of the CGI specials. It's my favourite CGI special by far, but I still think that the 3 model specials, 3 including the Magic Railroad, are still my favourite just. I think Calling All Engines, I like it, I just think it's a bit different because of all those like learning segment thingies. And the same with The Great Discovery. I like it, but I'm not a massive fan of Pierce Brosnan as a narrator. So I think that's probably the reason why Thomas the Magic Railroad is still my favourite special. But I think that this is definitely the best CGI one. And it and the other 3 are probably on the same level. Maybe The Great Discovery and Calling Legends are a little bit higher because I'm not going to lie, I'm a big fan of the models. Like, I grew up with the models, so I'm a big fan of the models. Even though I do love the new CGI. So yeah, I definitely recommend it as a Thomas film. It's much better than any of the other specials from the CGI era. And I think that it's very much comparable to the best Thomas specials we've had yet. So congratulations, HIT, who's decided to, you know, figure out what they want to do. Congratulations to all the writers and the people who made it, who were like, hang on a minute, this old stuff is rubbish. Let's actually do something which is not only going to keep the little children happy, because let's be honest, they don't really care, but it's also going to make the older fans of the show appreciate what they're doing. So I think I thank all those people who did that, because that was really good on their part, and I'm really happy with how it turned out, and where the series is going to be heading in the future.
When comparing this movie to other movies like Thomas and Magic Railroad, Calling All Engines, Hero of the Rails, Misty Island Rescue, and Blue Mountain Mystery, I have to say the older model specials had a lot more suspense and more storylines to it. Well, Thomas and the Magic Railroad had a lot more suspense because Diesel 10 was there. And so Calling All Engines basically was your generic Thomas episode, basically. It had the same learning segments between all different scenes. Misty Island Rescue, it featured the logging locos. That's right. I'm going to annoy so many people when I say that. But, and then Blue Mountain Mystery. I mean, it features a different engine, and when we heard Victor speak Portuguese for the first time, it twisted the story a little bit. And Luke coming in for the first time
The whole story seemed to be based around Luke. But with this and the model series overall, the model series and this, I mean, by model series I mean Thomas and the Magic Railroad and Blue Mountain Mystery, not Blue Mountain Mystery, King of the Railway. I highly recommend you see those. Thank you.